out.
Listen, hearing Lance Stroll scream on audio, on the team radio for this, had me crying during the live stream. What's going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with a new video, and today we're going to take a look at the qualifying highlights from the Monaco Grand Prix. Obviously, it is a humongous sporting weekend, so be sure to stay tuned on the channel for the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. Obviously, with qualifying, you will know who has the pole position, who is ready to compete, and it's going to be a very, very interesting weekend, in my opinion. We have IndyCar, we have the Champions League final here in a couple of hours. The Nürburgring apparently is having a race. There's a lot going on, and there will be a Game 7 for NBA. Everything is happening, so be sure to stay tuned on the channel because it's gonna be a fun weekend. It's gonna be a fun weekend, guys. But yeah, let's get into the qualifying highlights from the Monaco Grand Prix. Okay, we did have a live stream for this, so if you guys want to go back and check out the live stream, I left a link to it in the comments below. It should be pinned. But this is more of a review. I feel like more than it is a first reaction because it was a very interesting qualifying session. I consider no crash. I lied, there was crashes. Let's get into the video. Let's do this.
George Russell will be next to cross the line, goes third fastest for George Russell.
Which it was good.
Much better lap for him and the Mercedes. 2/10 off, and we've red flagged the session. The red flags are out.
This is why the review comes in. This is why the review comes in. Dumbest red flag I think I've seen so far since we started watching F1. Dumbest red flag. I mean, you're about to see why, but it just makes no sense whatsoever. I just don't get it.
Against the barriers, or a driver that's had an accident.
It was a car against the barriers.
Tsunoda into the Nouvelle chicane. Has he made contact with the barrier as he goes through and locks up?
Good front left puncture having touched the barrier.
Session's going to resume in 3 minutes' time. As he just on the way in, he might have made contact to get that puncture. Nicholas Latifi hasn't managed to get out of Q1 so far this season. Has a chance, and sadly for him, misses out. Only 18th fastest. Sebastian Vettel next across the line, goes 7th fastest. Big improvement in his lap time. Fernando Alonso is next across the line. We're on board with the McLaren. Norris and Ricciardo trying to improve their position. Alonso goes 8th fastest. Norris goes into the top 4 with a brilliant final sector. Daniel Ricciardo is next, and he goes into the top 9. Pushes Lewis Hamilton a bit closer to the drop zone. Mick Schumacher, Bottas, and Albon down there as well. Lance Stroll is in the bottom 5, stays in the bottom 5 as Esteban Ocon goes 4th fastest overall, and Yuki Tsunoda goes into the top 9. Alex Albon is out of qualifying. Gasly out of qualifying 2. And that was quite the finish to the first part of qualifying. Some brilliant laps going in from the likes of Ocon, and for Norris, Albon, Gasly, Stroll, Latifi and Joe all lose out.
Listen, hearing Lance Stroll scream on audio, on the team radio for this, had me crying during the live stream. He's just screaming that he didn't make it. But yeah, it was just a bad race in my opinion. I mean, it was a bad red flag, because then pretty much there was a giant build-up in the pit lane, and the cars only legitimately got 1 lap out. And Pierre Gasly was like a casualty of Yuki Tsunoda's crash, which it's not Yuki's fault that Yuki didn't obviously call the red flag, but he ruined his own teammate's qualifying session because of it. And I mean, he probably does feel bad.
And Bottas with best personal sectors for the first part of the lap, as Ocon goes 6th fastest, pushes Kevin Magnussen.
The Haas is just qualifying. I wanted it to do well. I wanted it to do well.
Crosses the line, goes 7th fastest. He's going to be okay for Q3 here, and probably his teammate George Russell as well, as we watch out for Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. Yuki Tsunoda is at risk, because he's currently 10th. Sebastian Vettel crosses the line, gets his Aston Martin into the top 10. Decent lap from Sebastian Vettel, and round the final corner we come with Valtteri Bottas. Can't get himself into Q3 for the second time this season. Valtteri Bottas misses
Mick Schumacher was
Good
gone.
news if you're Fernando Alonso,
was the only one
who was the driver at risk, as Max Verstappen crosses the line to go 4th fastest. But a decent lap from Vettel right at the end there. But out in front, Leclerc and Perez separated by less than a 10th. Disappointment for Daniel Ricciardo, his former teammates.
Danny Rick he's having a disaster of a year qualifying.
Sebastian Vettel.
The McLaren is good too. The McLaren is quick. It's
in early.
I don't know what's up.
And give it full beans. There's so much grip there, so much traction.
Bro, I need to see the onboard for this. I need to see the onboard for this. It just looks so good.
You're on the brakes, go. And a little bit wide on the way in there, just a tiny bit wide, but carried good speed. Mind the right tires against the barrier as you go through the left-hander, and mind them again through the exit. The Ferrari settles so nicely. This is where Leclerc carries a lot of speed. Brake again in a straight line.
Right
all
through
the
that corner.
Apex
So
late.
tight.
And now you've got one corner to make, and you've got to stay out of the barriers there. I don't think he's attacked the track quite like I've seen him at other times, but what's it going to yield time-wise? An 11.3. That's a cracking lap.
That is half a second quicker than his best lap and the fastest lap during Q2. He has found more pace. Charles Leclerc, who this time last year took pole here, but managed to crash his Ferrari at the end of Q3, which led to him not starting the race. He's on provisional pole now by 0.2 of a second. His teammate Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton on used tyres makes his way round in an unrepresentative time of a 1:24. Lando Norris also on used tyres in the 1:12s. We cross the line with Max Verstappen, and he's nearly 3/10
that's a good lap. That's a good lap too. It's just not Ferraris.
Pole position currently
occupied. At this point, like I was like, it's gonna stay Leclerc and Sainz. Maybe like a George Russell sneaks into that top 5, but like it was just Red Bull were so off the pace, and you could see it. Even Checo was just not there, game plan wise, which is so surprising and so shocking in my mind because I really did think it was going to be a Red Bull 1-2 in qualifying. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did think that. And it was just... I don't know what was wrong with Red Bull.
It took pole, of course, this time last year. And I dare say an awful lot of fans here in Monaco this weekend would love to see him keep up the pace he's setting currently. And it's a rocket pace out in front.
Again, takes the pavement into Portier now. And
then seeing Checo come out of nowhere right at the end of that. You saw his tail slide.
That was Perez. And Perez has stopped at Portier. And I think Perez has got into the barriers, and Carlos Sainz on the scene as well has made contact. And that is the end of qualifying. And last year, it was Charles Leclerc who hit the barriers and managed to grab pole.
I'm out, man. Sorry.
This year, it's Sergio Perez who's hit the barriers, and Charles Leclerc has grabbed pole. I dare say he would have grabbed pole anyway, because
it's a Ferrari
the week that he announced he was becoming a Disney character, he has been light years ahead of the rest in this final part of qualifying. But that is a little...
I never noticed that he said that during the broadcast. That's a good line, you know, because I think it's him and Carlos Sainz were helped be the voice of Buzz Lightyear or whatever.
Bit of wreckage.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
Yeah, I saw a yellow flag late.
Perez disappeared.
He just slides in the wall.
As I say, lost the rear, sliding around
and
that
then here comes Carlos.
And there's Sainz doing exactly the same thing.
So we just saw it, didn't we, in the corner of our eye,
yeah.
the Red Bull funny angle as we had the shot cut.
Oh,
and,
just a tail slide, and then watch him crash into him. It's rough.
Spins and wait for it.
Bam.
Oh. Tomorrow could be a completely different day if the weather forecasters are right. And
Fernando Alonso too. I forgot about that.
It is forecast. Charles Leclerc then 12 months.
Okay, so this is what it looks like, guys. This is what the qualifying session will look like for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix. It is Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and P5. I have high hopes for Lando Norris at this Monaco Grand Prix. I think if McLaren get their situation right, he could end up on the podium. I just think about it. If Lando is able to put that McLaren in P5, why is Daniel Ricciardo not able to do the same thing? It's so disheartening to see the drop-off sort of in the quality between the two. But I'm hoping the best for Danny Rick tomorrow. He lives in Monaco. I hope he's able to produce something at the course. George Russell, Fernando Alonso, God, honestly, the Alpines, the McLarens, the Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari. And then obviously Vettel. Seeing Vettel in Q3 was actually really, really nice. He was so happy to even make it to Q3. Seeing that Aston Martin, I'm talking bad about Danny Rick, but I mean, think about Lance Stroll. What is he, P18, P17? And Vettel got the most out of the car, got it to P9. True champions came to play. We had 14 combined world titles just in Q3 of this qualifying session. It's a good qualifying session. So it's going to be a great race as well. come back tomorrow for the race. The live stream link should be, you guys can find the live stream link. I'll catch you guys though for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix. Peace.